Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts, Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy! Welcome back to the Ages of Rock podcast. This is episode number 388. And in this episode, we're going to talk about the HBO Max documentary, and that's Doc, D-O-C-K, Yacht Rock Radio. Rock Radio. No, wait a minute. Not Yacht Rock Radio, just the Yacht Rock documentary. Before we do that, though, Bill and Dennis have some records, and I might have a record to show you, too.
Really? Like a speed record, or
bitch, you will see.
It's going to be a picture from the county jail. It's a record.
Their first record. I was arrested on that.
I'm innocent though. Go ahead, Bill.
Oh, you want me to go first?
Sure, right. Why not?
I don't know if I showed this or not, but I got it a couple weeks ago.
Well, you didn't get arrested, so
I did not. It is the Steel Panther.
Oh, you talked about ordering it, but who is it signed to?
It is signed. Well,
except
so
for
they did. Yeah. So here. Okay. So here's what happened. So it says it's signed. So I paid a little extra for the signage, right?
Except for
but the album is actually not signed.
Oh,
they signed a card on the it's a full length. It's a full size of the album, but it's yeah.
Well, they want that way you can
No.
Okay, I got you.
I didn't know.
Okay.
Signed album, not signed.
It's also missing a signature.
Well, that's because he's been booted.
He's a quitter.
Yeah. No, he was a firer.
That's what she said. Whatever. Anyway, so that was mine. There you go.
Okay. So I went to Louisville. Kelly and I went off for our anniversary weekend. And we went on the way back. We stopped at Ferdinand. And
wait, I thought that was going to be your record.
No, Ferdinand. There was a big antique store, and I was like, "Oh, okay." We went there, but they did have some people. One person had this real nice booth with a lot of really good albums. So, and of course, I had most every time. I was like, "Oh, I got that." No, I got that one. Got Discogs saved me from rebuying about pre-orders.
Thank God for Discogs.
But I did for $8. $8, I've got is
copy
Honeymoon
number
Suite
975.
No, it's Honeymoon Suite, but it's like their.
Oh, I thought it was going to be New England.
I thought it was New England too. I'm like, dude.
No, it was there, and I sent that to you guys. This is also a promotional album, which I like that.
That's cool.
The gold sticker. So it's for $8. It's really. I took it out. It looks like brand new.
Do you know any songs off of it?
I honestly don't, but I listened to it. I listened to it on Spotify, and they sound like Honeymoon Suite. This is your kind of thing. Bryan Adams, Into the Fire.
Yeah.
$8. It's pretty good shape. Looks like on the back, though, RCA Music Service. So it's probably a
12 records for a penny.
Terre Haute. It comes from Terre Haute.
Hey, it's a record.
I did pick up a cut corner, but it's Jay Ferguson, Thunder Island.
So
this kind of fits in. This kind of fits in with a little bit tonight, and also the next one does too, which is a sealed copy of Frankie and the Knockouts album original, and then it's the one that has "Sweetheart" on it. So,
right on.
So anyway, that was my album, and I got that for $5.
Wow,
so I was pretty impressed. So
very cool.
Frankie and the Knockouts will be happy to get a little.
Yeah,
residual from that, you know.
Are they going to get a residual from a used record?
No.
I think they'd be happy to get a residual from the first record.
Yeah, no shit. So anyway, that's what I got. And
cool.
Well, Alan, what did you
Alan says record. He has a record.
Well, I have a Doobie Brothers minute by minute clock. You can't see it very well, but this is actually
that's the hands. Yeah,
that's like a clock face. Yeah,
that's Michael McDonald's nose.
Right, and right. Well, what's funny about that? My friend Art Woodward is a huge Doobie Brothers pre-Michael McDonald fan,
Oh, so
but he made this for me. Um, and if you poke a hole in it with the record still in it, the Michael's
that's where
nose is right smack in the middle of that, so that fits perfectly.
that's
But that
hilarious.
that segues us into this week's topic.
Yes,
So
interesting.
on HBO Max on November the 29th, they released Yacht Rock, a documentary. And we've watched it. And now we're going to talk about it.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
I've said all along in the last how many years we've been on here, quite a few, more than two. I've always said, Yacht Rock is my, you know, my one of my first love. It's one of my what do we call it? Our guilty
And
pleasures, guilty
oh yeah,
pleasures.
yeah.
And but I do.
I
I
don't
listen to
know.
it. I listen to it. I have a set list that I made myself. Plus, I have other ones that I've got off of Spotify. But I made one that has I don't know how many. I have to look and see how many songs it is. But when we go over to our friends swimming and stuff in the summertime at the pool, that it's just a continuous. It plays all the time. I mean, it just constantly plays. And we're all of that age. All of us are in that um, late 50 will be oldest. 62 is the oldest, and it'd be 57 is the youngest. So that's where we're at. Or 50,
That's a
56.
lot of math, dude. Really.
It is a lot of math. But anyway, we use and abuse that playlist a lot. It's just fun to listen to.
Yeah.
So one
I'm
of my
just trying
first
to.
takeaways from, of course, I watched it and took notes as the documentary was going on. One of the first things that kind of was brought up was, is it yacht or is it yacht? And
Yeah,
someone commented that all yacht rock is soft rock, but not
Mhm.
all soft rock is yacht rock.
right. Rodney and I had this
Sure.
conversation last night. He made a comment of Jimmy Buffett should be the biggest. I said he's not yacht rock. He's like, how can he not be yacht rock?
No.
And I'm going, he's not yacht rock.
Because he doesn't own a yacht.
He did
And he
actually.
doesn't really rock.
Well, he doesn't own anything. Now he's dead.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, okay, there goes some.
Well, see, I was never a big fan of Jimmy
How
Buffett,
many
but
people
Jimmy
just
Buffett
stop?
doesn't
That was
like.
it. Done.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
well,
We
thanks for
started
listening.
being idiots before this episode even started
Yeah,
recording.
Yeah, pretty much.
exactly,
Yeah, that's true.
exactly.
Hence the hats.
I made some notes, but they were just all names I remember, so I can call these people by the right names. But I did have a couple things I mentioned and picked up off the documentary. I thought it
So
was a
go.
well done
Yeah,
documentary.
it's cool. I think it was
I
cool.
thought very good.
I
Yeah.
watched it quite a bit ago, like right when it first came out. I think it might have been the first day because I was thumbing through and I was like, "Oh my God, look at that!" And
There
then
it
watched it.
is.
So it's been a
Um,
day.
Steely Dan, the
Yeah.
primordial ooze from which yacht rock sprang. I told y'all I took notes. I took
Good
Yes,
deal,
notes.
man.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Donald Fagen and Walter Becker, and that's whichever, and then whoever they wanted to play with them. That's what Steely Dan is.
And, they top-notch musicians that they had brought
Oh,
in.
I don't argue with that fact whatsoever. And I do not own Asia.
I have
I need to
never
buy that.
listened to a Steely Dan record all the way through.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't think I
I've
have
never
either.
even listened to a Steely Dan Greatest Hits album all the way through.
So this was mentioned on the thing. I want to see Bill maybe or Alan if this has happened to you. When you went to like say Risley's or one of these places and you're looking for speakers or a stereo, was Asia not one of the albums that they put on to do? I mean, I remember that. I remember that. I mean, vividly.
Yeah,
The
because
dude throws on.
acoustically it was a big deal, right?
It was
It
it
was the
was
way it was
huge. It
recorded,
was
and I
just
remember that being.
absolutely
Yeah, you're
perfect. I mean,
right.
it was. So I do remember going to Risley's, and the first
Yeah.
thing they do, they throw on. Oh, you like these bows? Okay, well, guess what? Whap! You got Peg going on, and it did. It sounded great. It was a great salesman tool. I mean, it was a
Well,
perfect up. But
when we do live sound, when we're tuning a room, typically
right,
we throw Peg on there.
is it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sonically. about as perfect as you can get.
And that
And
that was one of the things that was brought up right after the primordial ooze comment is that Asia, is it pronounced Asia?
Yeah. I thought it was
Yeah.
eight. Yeah,
no,
whatever.
I
it's
thought it
it's
was
it's it's
pronounced.
pronounced it's not Asia, it's pronounced Asia, but it's everybody says Asia or whatever. It's
Yeah.
AJA.
So that answered the question. Do you believe that that is the most perfectly recorded album of all time?
Well, according to certain people at Risley's, it is. And other
According to
record stores.
Kenwood
Yeah.
and
I have heard Boston and I have heard Styx, I believe, used as a demo also. So there you go.
Would that be the Grand Illusion album?
Alan, it's been so long ago, I don't remember.
probably.
But I do remember like when you got long time, for a foreplay long time,
Uh-huh.
that build up, that was always a big thing too, showing how that, crispness of that album was.
Ho,
Not
ho, ho.
Christmas, even though we're we're in the Christmas season.
Around the corner.
There you go.
It is.
But yeah,
Um, Anybody have any specific thoughts about the documentary in general? Anything that kind of stood out to you?
It's kind of weird. Well, one thing that stuck out to me, and I didn't really. I mean, I listened to it, and it's on, and it's really, a lot of that is filler music, right? So you put it on, and you're
sure.
doing something else when it's on, and kind of thing, or like you said, at the pool or whatever. I didn't really realize how much Michael McDonald's music was part of the yacht rock era. Um,
Well,
and I've
Well,
spent
when
a long time trying to figure out and trying to, for myself, trying to determine what defines yacht rock for me, because it may be different, it may be a little different for some people, whatever. But
sure.
really, it's like you said, those essential records or whatever are
well,
really
if you
good.
want
And
to
that's kind
find
of the
out
thing.
if you're wrong or not, there's a Yacht Rock Facebook group that will tell you whether you are
Oh,
correct.
I've actually joined that group just to be punished because why not?
Yeah, they can get. I've
Oh yeah,
seen some Kiss fans that have been overly exuberant
right.
about my opinion is right, yours is wrong. But the Yacht Rock community, they
On a
got us
different
Kiss
level.
fans beat.
Yep, on a
To
different level.
to me, it's the music that I remember listening to in my parents' car on AM radio. And they used to call it originally it was called AM Gold. When you bought these album K-Tel's AM Gold before the term yacht rock ever came out, and it was basically all easy listening rock type music. And that's my in my head, that's my definition. Now
Well,
I do add some that are not included. I know that they don't say Rupert Holmes is a yacht rock guy, but that's almost fucking a stereotypic song that should be yacht rock.
right.
It's on some
Oh, it
lists
is, but
lists
it's
because yeah.
not. But it's not considered yacht rock itself. So he doesn't get a hat.
Well, I want to step back here for a minute
Sure.
because when I introduced this episode, I meant to point out that the term yacht rock came from a web series on YouTube from 2005, and it's just called Yacht Rock. There are 12 episodes. They're like 5 minutes apiece. Um, Hollywood Steve Huey and JD, I don't know if it's pronounced Risner or Reisnar. It's Ryznar.
Hmm.
But they did this web series, and I will put it in the show notes on our website for this episode. But I watched it the other day, and it is so stupid. And the
Right.
stupider it gets, the funnier it gets.
Oh, I you said something about
I
posting
said I was going to send you guys the
because I
playlist,
want. I've
and
been
then I
waiting for it.
forgot to send it. So
So
I'll
I'll
get
be like
it.
everybody else, and I'll get it
Yeah,
off our page. But yes, I
that
do want to see that. I've
that's
seen
right. Yeah.
pieces of it from that show, but I haven't seen it itself. So
Right, but supposedly that's where the first time that the term yacht rock was coined.
gotcha.
Um, and we were
Right.
talking about, or Bill mentioned that Michael McDonald is all over yacht rock. Um, I have put together a playlist of 15 songs that have what they coined in this show as the doobie bounce.
Right.
You listen to What a Fool Believes and
Right.
listen
Dun,
to
dun, dun.
all of these songs.
Oh yeah, they're all
It's almost note for note the same thing. But I will have that linked in on our webpage as well. I'm gonna have
that's
a few
cool.
things linked on the webpage.
That's cool.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah. So Christopher Cross, big weed dealing.
I was gonna say he he, he basically
Finances his first album.
I learned a lot of stuff from
Right.
this
Now,
documentary.
my favorite part about hearing about the Christopher Cross thing wasn't that he financed his first album selling weed or that he wrote his biggest hit on acid. It was the fact that he filled in for Richie Blackmore in the early 70s
I
at a
saw
Deep
that
Purple
too.
concert.
And
Not his
something
genre.
Nah.
and something that was never that's never been brought up in that documentary, which I would thought, but I guess it really doesn't have anything pertain to it. But Stevie Ray Vaughan's Stratocaster, the SRV, the one he's known for,
Mhm.
he bought that in a pawn shop, and Christopher Cross, that was his guitar. He
Hmm.
took Christopher Cross's guitar and made it into the SRV. So Christopher Cross actually owned that guitar before Stevie Ray Vaughan.
That's pretty cool.
That's a
Hmm.
known that's
Wow.
a
Those,
known fact.
those little nuggets like that, I always enjoy learning.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
But no, I was and that's one thing about this. I didn't know the crisscross of I know that Michael McDonald did everything at some point, back in those days, but it was just the crisscross of, Toto working with these people and the people from here working with these people, and they're all, like I said, it's just a big incestuous mess of people, players that are playing together, making great music. I mean, and it's some are credited, and some aren't, with Kenny Loggins and doing this, and Kenny, he was touring with what was it, Fleetwood Mac, and then he goes off on his own, worried about from him and Messina, and then all of a sudden, he puts out a hit with Stevie Nicks, and then it's this huge hit, and then Michael McDonald and him. I think the funniest thing that I was on here was like, they made the one song, What a Fool Believes, and then they got together a few years later. And it's like, we'll write a shitty song. Well, the shitty song was This Is It. It's like, won another Grammy. Well, fuck,
Now
It
that was the
worked.
following year. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I mean, it's just, I love hearing that stuff. I mean, I think that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Is there anything in particular about yacht rock in general that you guys have noticed?
I'm usually holding a drink in my hand when I'm listening to it.
Well, that's any time. How many female yacht rock artists have you?
Yeah. That's what I noticed that
Oh,
today. There are
yeah.
not many. And
Backup
actually,
singers.
well, yeah, but I mean, even looking at the list of people like
You're
in a
right.
playlist, there's like you got to scroll forever to find one,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
even that, it's kind of questionable.
I
So,
really never even thought about it. And now you
Well,
got me.
neither had I, and this is something else I want to bring up. There is another yacht rock documentary which can be found on YouTube, and it's called "I Can
So,
Go for That: The Smooth World of Yacht Rock." And that
hmm.
was one of the things that they mentioned in that. And I'll have that linked on our page as well.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to write it down, but yeah, definitely link it because
Yeah.
I want to see that too.
But that's one thing that they pointed out in that documentary is that there are no mainstream yacht rock female artists. And the closest that I could find that would actually be considered yacht rock, Doobie Brothers did "You Belong to Me,"
Right.
so
mhm.
did Carly Simon, and
True.
that
was
is
that
the
was that before or after? Did Doobie do it first? Did the Doobies do it first?
I would
Michael
guess because they
McDonald
wrote
wrote
it.
the song.
Yeah, they wrote
Yeah,
it.
that doesn't
So
mean that they did it
I
first.
don't know who
He
did it
may have
first.
written it for her.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Hmm.
I bet she copied it. My
I don't know.
guess.
Maybe.
That's my guess. Hmm. That's interesting. I never really thought about that. But you know what? That's kind of a familiar subject that comes up with all these genres. When we talked about, the '80s here a while back. Here's the hair metal or the hair bands. You know, girls already have the big hair. Girls, why weren't there more girl bands in that too? I mean, it's kind of like every genre. I mean, you've got the female artist in there, but yeah, Yacht Rock. I can't think of one. Think about it. Wow.
Well, I think Carly Simon. I did. She appears on a couple things.
Sure.
Jennifer Warren's. I mean, I'm looking at. I'm scrolling through the one
There
off
were. I mean,
off
they're and
of
they're. Stevie Nicks, sang with
Apple.
Kenny Loggins. I mean, they got
Yeah.
cold singers, but like you said, as a woman star, just being a Yacht Rock, I can't name one.
Yeah. Oh, Rita Coolidge. Your love has lifted me higher. That's
Yeah,
considered
that
in
could be
in the list.
That's probably on my. Actually, let me see what I've got on my Yacht Rock. This will be interesting. I'm going to see what I got on mine that has women in it.
Well, for what it's worth, Aretha Franklin did a cover of What a Fool Believes.
Really? Huh.
And you can find that in the playlist that I'm going to have linked in the show episode.
Linked in the show? Oh my gosh. That is amazing.
Amazing.
So myself, I consider Olivia Newton-John Yacht Rock. Some of her early stuff, I consider that Yacht Rock.
Her early stuff like what? You Light Up My Life? No, that wasn't her.
No,
that's Debbie
not
Boone.
That was Debbie Boone.
I would not. I would not. No, I would say like where am I at here?
Like Physical?
No. Have you ever been mellow?
Yeah.
A little more love. That's in the 80s, but that still could be considered.
Yeah, okay.
That was
That
I
might
had
give
two
you-
songs. I
might
gave
throw
her
you
two
that
songs.
It's
I gave her
kind of-
two songs.
Kind of borderline.
Yeah,
The-
that's what I'm going through here real quick.
The Yacht Rock Facebook people would be quick to tell you no.
How about Nicolette Larson? A Lot of Love.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
See, now that's one. Rita Coolidge, We're All Alone. I have that one. Maureen McCormick, The Morning After. Captain and Tennille, I consider that Yacht Rock. So you got you got the Tennille in there.
That song might be in that playlist.
That's why I'm just going through here real quick.
Marie McCormick, like you mean like from the Brady Bunch?
No. I got some Carly. I got Carly Simon here too. I think Carly Simon kind of fits that.
Yeah, there's a couple. I've seen her in a couple of different
You're
lists.
so vain, haven't got time for the pain. That's the way we've always heard it could be in anticipation. Those are Yacht Rock songs to me.
I don't know. That's not got that groove. It doesn't have that.
Well, maybe.
I don't think it has that.
I got Carpenters in there, a couple Carpenter songs because I dislike Carpenters. Fuck you guys.
There may be a Carpenter song in that playlist.
I'm not saying no women should be
I got
in
Ricky
there.
Lee Jones, Chucky's in Love.
Get out of here with that shit.
I have that.
Get Chuck it. What the hell's wrong with you?
That's got some groove. That's got some groove to it. And that's the
How
only thing I
drunk
have.
Are you?
No, I'm not. But that's all the women that I have in my Yacht Rock that's 13 hours worth. That's how many girls I got.
You got way too much Ricky
But
Lee Jones.
my rules on Yacht
One
Rock
song is
and
too
the
much for Bill.
well, I mean my rules for Yacht Rock and the guys who think that they're the fucking the kings of Yacht Rock. We have a
The
different thing.
gatekeepers.
I was very
Or
impressed.
would they be the
with,
Dockmeisters?
Yep.
True. But that Amir Thompson, was it Questlove? Is what he goes by, and
Yes.
then Thundercat. Those two guys are some fucking cool dudes. I mean,
Thundercat is badass.
they got
man.
their shit together, and it was funny. Like when Amir talked about remember when Doobies were on What's Happening, and Rerun took the cassette recorder and was going to make a bootleg of it, and like he said, like the next week. All of his black friends are like, man, the Doobies are shit. They're the greatest thing ever. I thought that was really good. And the thing was, is the first time I watched this thing, that Jason King, he's another black guy, was a scholar, music scholar. I guess I was just not paying attention. I thought he was being kind of shitty about everything. But then I watched it again this afternoon right before we come on. I'm like going, oh no, I for some reason I took his. I don't know. I was thinking he was going a different direction with it, but he came off my shit list real quick. But no, that Thundercat guy, those guys, and like I said, Questlove, whatever, they get it and they understand it and they use it and they and make good music out of it. Another thing on this show that I was very interested in. Had you ever seen Ted Templeton before?
No.
The guy who did the Van Halen sound.
The producer.
I saw this guy,
no.
and he put his name on there, and I was like, that's Ted Templeton? Because I didn't know what he looked like. This is a guy who's known for making Van Halen sound like Van Halen. It's like he don't look like that. He looks like a yacht rock guy. But I thought that was very interesting because I'd never seen him before. So anyway,
Hmm.
I'm about out of stuff
That
on my
isn't
list
that
here.
is interesting.
So where do we find the scale, the site where shows like like that one "You Belong to Me" or whatever it is like the top of that's the 100 of all the yacht rock things. Did you notice that they
It's the yacht or not. Yacht. I can't
is
pronounce that.
is
It's
that
the
the
yacht or
site?
yacht scale.
Okay,
I would say just Google that.
okay, because I
But
want to find out where that is. So
the everything is based upon what a fool believes.
right,
You
what
know,
a fool
so
believes.
so
Yeah,
that's the highest on the list. And I don't
gotcha.
know that I would consider, even though that's a great song and it's my favorite Doobie song, I
Right.
don't know that I would consider that the
I don't
best yacht
I
rock
don't
song
consider that either. I don't either.
because you know,
So, what is your
one of
favorite then?
My
my
Or do you
favorite.
want to finish your thought, and then finish
my
your thought?
favorite yacht rock song or my
No, no, no. But
favorite.
finish your thought you were doing. I ran over you. Sorry, man.
What was I saying?
I don't remember.
Shit. I'm sorry.
uh, I don't remember what I was saying. It's terrible.
I don't either. I'm sorry.
Um,
We were talking about you don't consider that Doobie Brothers song to be the
Thank you.
number one song.
Yeah, well, I don't know that I would consider it the number one yacht rock
I
song.
agree with you on that.
There, Ambrosia, How Much I Feel. I like
Right.
that song. To me, that's a really, really, it should be high on the list. But I mean,
Right.
it's all personal taste,
There's a lot of
you
great
know.
songs. There's just a lot of good songs. And like you
But
said, in my favorite song changes every day. I don't
yeah.
know.
Now, something that you know, I noticed in this documentary, and I also noticed in the other documentary that they pretty well say "Taking It to the Streets" was the beginning of Yacht Rock, which is a Doobie Brothers song.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't get
But
that.
Man.
well,
Yeah.
it's got the Doobie bounce with the Fender Rhodes piano and all of
Let's see,
that
but
stuff.
that's if
But
consider
but
that.
anyway, what I was getting at, if "Taking It to the Streets" was on this end of Yacht Rock, Yacht Rock supposedly ends with Michael McDonald's "Sweet Freedom" in 1986.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know when it ended though. I really don't.
Well,
I don't have a
I think it ended before. It probably ended like 3 years before that,
yeah. I mean,
but it just kind of got a one
uh,
last Hail Mary at the end, or Michael McDonald got one last Hail Mary at
all
the
right.
end.
But I mean, once again, another genre is saying that MTV killed them. MTV
Jeez.
is a multiple. It's a
Well,
serial
MTV.
it
killer.
probably did because there
It
were
is. I
those
mean,
a lot of that music was older. There were no videos
yeah,
for it. There were
right.
no concert. I mean, there were no concert videos. I mean,
No,
remember, like you said, when you saw the KTEL records, you would see a
right,
performance, in part of the commercial. But
right,
yeah, or you'd have it on Dick Clark, right?
right.
Mhm.
It,
Well, I mean,
you
like
know,
when Nick Christopher
but
Cross was talking about on this thing, he said, basically he had a face for radio. His videos weren't appealing. They weren't bringing young girls in. They weren't, he
oh
wasn't,
no,
they weren't.
yeah,
It wasn't a thriller video. It was sailing. It's like, but no, I mean, so that's another genre that says, MTV basically killed us. So MTV is a serial killer. We know that now. So
Well, MTV wiped out a lot of their. I mean, it kind of wiped out hard rock too.
it wiped out a
yeah,
shitload.
overindulgence, right?
Yep.
Just too much,
Yep.
just
Yeah.
too much of it. So my
But
question was, do you have
okay.
one song that is your favorite yacht rock song? Like if you pin one down, you got to pin
Boy,
one
that's hard.
to the board
That's
and go,
hard.
that's my favorite.
I would probably say "How Much I Feel" by Ambrosia. Thunder Island is a close second, though.
Magnet and Steel is probably one of my favorite ones. I
It's not
consider
Yacht
that.
Rock. You get right. No, I'm
You know what?
kidding.
Fuck
I'm
you. It
kidding.
is Yacht Rock to me.
That literally took how long?
Uh, I'm just trying to
20
think here.
minutes.
I'm just kind of going through which ones I think I consider Baker Street a Yacht Rock song, and that's probably one of my all-time favorite songs ever.
Really?
Both of
Yes.
his hits and both of Al Stewart's hits.
Actually, he has more than one hit. Right Down the Line was
Yeah.
on that same album.
City to
That's a
City
great
is also, well, that's the
City
name
to
of the
City is
album
a
too.
right, but it has some good hits on it too.
Yeah.
Um, no, and like I said, that changes. I mean, that's one of my all-time favorite songs. But I mean, I love Thunder Island. That's been one that's been there for a long time. God, I'm just going through here. I mean, I love them all. I tell you, Lido Shuffle is one of my favorite songs, and
But
Boss Cagg's Lowdown.
it should be called Toto Shuffle.
I know, but I'm saying Boss
And it's
Gags
like
was a intricate part of this.
Michael Jackson's Thriller album should be called Toto.
Yeah, it should. I like Into the Night by Benny Margieros, but
I hate that
oh,
song.
I like that song, but it's
Kelly's
not a
it's
yacht rock song to me.
it's a pedophile song, and we actually know the drummer off that album too. That
And you
song,
know he's a pedophile?
No, you know the drummer. What's Padilla? We've interviewed him 100 times. From Nashville. Um,
The only drummer from Nashville I can think of that you're talking about is Christopher Williams. I don't
no,
think
no,
that's
no, no,
him.
no, no. Older guy. We've interviewed him a couple times. He's been on the show. He played in those rare hair things we've seen a couple times. God damn it. I can't believe
I don't know no drummer named God damn it.
I'll think of it here in a minute. But anyway, he played drums on that. He played with God damn it.
I don't know that band either.
Just
Well, while
kidding.
you're
I'm
trying
drawing
to
a blank.
figure that out,
I'm drawing a blank.
So
Um,
yeah.
I'll
So while
quit
you're
cursing.
go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
some other things, one of the comments that was made, and I can't remember which artist said it, but he said that he felt that Michael McDonald was his music was progressive R&B pop, and I thought that was a really, really good
Mhm.
description.
I agree. Had a good groove. I mean, it was definitely
Either Dennis figured out who he was trying to think of.
Sandy Gennaro.
Oh, he's been on our
Yeah,
show
he played-
twice.
right,
That is
he's
not
played-
100 times.
But I interviewed him down at Watchmobile too. But anyway, he played on that. He played drums on Benny Majaro's song. Anyway,
Oh.
it was Judd Fuller. I had to go through Judd Fuller. I knew who it was.
Oh.
I was just trying to get the fucking name going. All right, sorry, Sandy.
When you've done this many episodes, it's impossible to remember everybody that's been on
That's
the
why
show.
I got most of my notes are just names, so I can remember names.
there you go. Well, my favorite yacht rock song, at least when I was going through it, listening to it, and I went back and listened to
Right.
it 2 or 3 times, was "Smoke of a Distant Fire."
That's a good.
That's
And
it. Not
that's
only
one
is
of
it a great yacht rock song, it's a great one-hit wonder.
Yeah, because that's it. you get,
It
you
is.
get that song, and they're gone. And I had to look. I never knew who the band was.
Yeah, Sanford
I would just-
Townsend.
Sanford Townsend Band.
Yeah, Sanford
Yeah,
Townsend
I didn't.
band,
Yeah, I know that now, but I didn't know that then. I was like,
Actually, the one on my set list is a not a remake, but an upper. It's been redone by them, and it's really good. Actually, it's sounds a lot better, and it's a little extended. But
Other
that is a good song.
highlights of that was going back to Michael McDonald was SCTV having Rick Moranis.
I remember that. I remember that. I actually have that on DVD over there right now.
I'm about to borrow that from you then.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, I'll get it to you.
Yeah.
I have to find out which way. It's in one of the seasons. I don't remember what season it's in.
Yeah. It's probably on YouTube. I just never bothered looking it up.
Right.
Other little tidbits. Ambrosia's David Pack talking to McDonald because he was opening for the Doobie Brothers and asking about how you get that piano sound. He's like, I studied the Handel books.
Yeah.
I did my fucking homework. God damn it!
it's
Yeah.
finally happened.
He seemed to be the guy from Ambrosia seemed to have a little bit of a
No,
bad.
I was talking about Michael McDonald doing his homework.
Oh,
Right.
because he studied the books.
Did you think that he had a little bad vibe going on, guy from
Who?
Ambrosia?
David Pack?
Yeah.
A little bit. I think.
He seemed kind of bitter for some
Yeah,
reason. I don't know why, because I mean, anyway.
they had 5 or 6 hits. I mean,
Yeah, I
that
like
worked.
Ambrosia. I like it.
Yeah, I'm friends with Bertie Drummond, their drummer.
There you go.
He's a nice guy. Anyway, back to the show. Other things that were kind of struck me as humorous or whatever. Christopher Cross talking about the kid in the audience complimenting him for his cover of Sailing that NSYNC did. You know, the kid's mom was like, no, that's his song. NSYNC covered it. Reminds me of the time I heard somebody complaining that they saw David Bowie perform The Man Who Bought the World or Man Who Sold
Right,
the World,
right.
you know, not knowing that that was David's song
That
and
was
it was not a
Dave's.
fucking Nirvana song.
Depends on
Chris,
when you were born.
yeah, Christopher Cross sweeping the Grammys and basically stealing a Grammy from Barbra Streisand, you know, and
She didn't look very happy.
misses his opportunity to meet one of his heroes.
Kelly was like, she doesn't look
She
happy at
is
all. And I go,
mad.
she's madder now.
Yeah,
was that probably her last chance at a Grammy?
might have
Was
Might
that
have
when
been.
been.
that was for
Is
that
she?
one with her and Barry Gibb, right?
Could have been. I don't know.
It might have.
I think it was that song. I think it was a
It was around the
duo.
same time.
You know,
Yeah,
anyway,
interesting.
fuck,
Um,
fuck Babs.
Yeah.
MTV killed the Yacht Rock star. We kind of touched on that.
Sure.
One thing that popped into my head was Duran Duran uses yachts in their videos, but they're not Yacht Rock.
That's
No, they're
correct.
not.
That's
They're
correct.
not yacht or rock.
Right.
They're just pop drivel.
Yeah. I
Well,
like Duran Duran.
depends on your opinion.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I gave it.
Yeah.
That's what happened there.
Yeah. Um, you know, I never really looked at the liner notes of the Thriller album, but I did not realize one, that so many people in Toto were on that album, and that two, Steve Porcaro wrote Human Nature, you know,
Yeah, I thought that was
and they
interesting too.
played part of the demo, and the song is really,
Exactly.
it's almost
Exact.
exactly the same. I think, you know, a little bit of the lyrics may have got changed, but for the most part, they kept the song the way it was.
Sure.
Stuff like that, I think, is really cool,
I do too. I like that. I find
you
it
know.
very
And
amusing.
Steve Lukather wants to know where's his yacht.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
That dude's played on those people. Like I said, those people. If you combined
We
every
played on
song
all of those
they
albums. Where's
have,
my
I mean,
yacht?
they played on thousands. And like I've seen interviews with Ludacris saying, basically, I went in and maybe played three notes on an album or on a song. He goes, I don't even know what song it was. They said play GCD and I played it and that's it and went on an album. So he says, I'm uncredited on all kinds of shit I don't even know about.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of like the Wrecking Crew, and
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep. Glenn Campbell's on God, how many records
Yeah.
back in the
right.
60s?
What,
Well,
what's
and that's what
what's
is
the other group?
the guy people from Memphis, damn it,
No, they're from like aren't they
Muscle
from
Shoals.
Muscle
Muscle
Shoals?
Shoals.
That's Alabama, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was the other kind of wrecking crew bunch. But
yeah,
I
Yep.
did like the way that they said that the people who played on these yacht rock songs were kind of basically the second generation of the wrecking crew. It was the younger musicians that were coming in after the wrecking crew. People were getting too old to do sessions. These guys were coming in and becoming the new wrecking
right.
crew kind of situation, which I
Yeah.
thought that was kind of neat. I did
So
like the part about the peg too, the solo. I had heard that story a long time ago,
I
and
was just getting ready.
I've heard the other alternate. So there's a somewhere out. If you look on YouTube, there is a documentary about recording that, and they play all the different leads that people put in on it, and some of them are kind of cool. Some of them are really shitty. That other guy, he just nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that brings me up to one of the things everybody says Steely Dan is not Yacht Rock, you know, and Fagan gets mad when Christopher Cross cites them as, you know, not necessarily an influence, but part of the reason that he's considered Yacht Rock. And Steely Dan is like, no, 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 we're not affiliated with that at all. We have no dealings with that or no connection. Um, Christopher Cross and Steely Dan both used Michael Ameridan as their producer, Larry Carlton as a guitar player, and Jay Graydon, who did the Peg solo,
Right.
and Michael McDonald for background
Right.
vocals. So whether Steely Dan wants to admit it or not, there is a connection.
Yeah. And they were an
And Larry
influence.
Carlton's a hell of a jazz guitarist, which
Yeah.
is really the weird thing
It
too.
is.
Yeah.
Well, that's what a lot of especially Steely Dan, a lot of that
Mhm.
is jazz, popped
Yeah.
up
Right.
jazz.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Which this brings us to our favorite part of the whole documentary, the phone call.
That was funny. That was funny. But that's Donald Fagen is a prick. I mean, he's a first class prick. So no
Well,
matter how great.
he's the first to tell you he's a first class prick, too.
No, and I mean that's just his MO. I mean, he's just
Yeah.
known to be that. I mean, he is. But the thing is, the guy is a fucking musical genius. But
Yeah.
he's a prick, and he'll tell you he's a musical genius too.
Yeah.
You know, some people, that's
Yeah. He wears it like a fucking crown.
So,
toot
spoiler
your
alert
horn because
here.
ain't nobody going to do it for you.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert if you haven't watched it yet. Donald Fagen tells the guy to go fuck himself.
Yeah.
And then he hangs up on him.
Yeah.
But then, in a different documentary, someone talked to the guy that he hung up on, and he said that, like 5 minutes later, Fagen's management called him and gave him, full reign, use whatever Steely Dan stuff in this documentary you want. So,
Right.
so there's that.
He's selling records. I mean, he's selling records to people that maybe don't even know who's Steely Dan are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So overall, I thought the Yacht Rock documentary was pretty good.
I did too.
You know.
I did too. I was
Yeah.
well done.
It was
So
well
famous.
done. They interviewed good people.
Yes.
Yeah. They interviewed people that were knowledgeable. They interviewed people from a wide variety of genres, which I thought was really good.
Right. I agree.
Because a lot of these interviews, you get a producer and one or two artists, and that's it.
Yep. No, I mean, they got the heavy hitters that are, the movers and shakers of the whole genre itself,
And I remember at one point in time, I remember, this has been years, but people didn't want that moniker, right? They didn't
No.
want to get that was not a positive thing to have,
Sure.
to say that you were, you're in that rock, that yacht rock genre or whatever. That was a kind of downplayed.
Right.
It seemed to be anyway, but there's yacht rock bands out there. There's,
Yachtly Crew.
Yacht Rock Review, and they're
Right.
out there, all the time touring, and they'll be in Indianapolis again next summer because they had a little rain problem this summer.
Right.
But
Well, I
Does their yacht float away?
the damn stadium just
Well, I mean, put it this way. I mean, there are these yacht rock cruises going on. I mean, just like the rock
Yeah.
cruises and the Kiss cruises. You think that those people are bitching, getting paid to go play their music on these boats to people who adore and love them? I mean, I would think that would be better than playing some fucking podunk bar, some casino or some kind of shit where people don't give a crap what's playing your background music. I would love to be in that
God, you act like you've
situation.
been in a bar band.
Hallelujah. Somebody that understands my bitching. Yeah, that's what a bar band is. But anyway.
So, what do you think of Yacht Rock? What do you think? Did you watch the documentary? Give us a comment on the YouTube page. Shoot an email to one of us or all of us. Contact at agesofrock.com and visit agesofrock.com.
Wait.
Huh?
We're
Wait,
not
we
done
didn't-
yet.
Wait, we're not done yet.
I said we're done. We're done. No, what
We're not done yet. You gave us
You gave us
things
stuff
to do.
Yeah, we did it.
I sure did.
And you said, make sure you read this.
almost
For the
forgot.
first time ever
I
in the
know where
entire
I'm like going,
388 episodes,
You sons of
you
bitch.
give us a job and
And
then
we
you
did it.
bail on us.
We did it.
I'm glad y'all reminded me because I looked right over it on my notes. All
I'm
right,
sitting there going,
I did
I'm
all
sitting
that
there
work.
going,
Ain't
man,
no way
he's
in hell
gonna-
you're getting out of that.
number one.
All right.
Number one. Who is on your Mount Rushmore of Yacht Rock? Bill.
I have number. I don't have them in any specific order. I just have them
Right.
in. So I'm going to go with Kenny Loggins.
That's
Okay.
mine. He's mine.
Dennis, are you playing along there, buddy?
No.
Okay. I think you're gonna. Okay, we just gonna give one. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have Kenny Loggins on my thing, but I'm gonna put.
Well, then you're wrong.
I'm sure he is appreciative of that.
I'm gonna put Michael McDonald up there, of course.
He's on mine.
He's
Yeah.
on mine. Yeah.
Okay. And then who else? You go, Alan.
Christopher Cross.
I got Christopher Cross. That's my 2.
Yep.
I got Boss Skaggs.
Good
You got
one.
Boss Skaggs?
I do
Nope.
not.
Yeah. Okay.
I
I
have
kind of
Ambrosia.
cheated. I kind of cheated and got lazy for my 4th one.
Oh.
I have Ambrosia.
You have the whole band?
You got the whole man. You got a big
I
mountain.
put Toto on mine.
I don't have Donald Fagen, and because he's a prick, but he's a genius prick. So, like I said, Christopher Cross, Donald Fagen, Michael McDonald, and Boss Skaggs. Those were my 4 faces on my Mount Rushmore.
All right. I used bands too because
Okay. See, my mountain's not that big. I don't have much rock face.
sorry, buddy.
That's what she
He
said.
said
What was the other question you had?
The other question was, do you have a favorite misheard
that.
Yacht Rock lyric?
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Which one of you want to go first?
Bill, you go first.
Well, I picked the one you're supposed to pick.
Because mine's stupid.
Wrapped up like a douche in the middle of the night. That's not the right lyrics.
That's not Yacht Rock.
That's not Yacht Rock either.
You don't think so?
Not really. I don't consider that Yacht Rock. That's not on my
I think it is.
my Yacht Rock thing.
All right. Well, then fine. I'm not playing then. This was stupid.
All right. Mine was England Dan and John Ford Coley's Really Want to See You Tonight. And when he goes, I'm not talking about the linen. And I'm like going, what the fuck's wrong with your sheets and your pillowcases? He goes, I'm not talking about moving in. It's not linen. Up until about 5 years ago, I thought they were talking about sheets and pillowcases, but no.
Well, for what it's worth, same song, different
Right.
line.
Which one?
There's a warm wind blowing the stars around.
What's it? What is it?
There's
does it say?
there's a warm wind blowing and the stars are out.
Oh, the stars are out. Oh, I knew that, but yeah, linen. I was too worried about pillowcases and sheets to worry about the damn stars. I don't know what I did. I was like, going, what the fuck do they keep talking about the linen for? Who cares about linen? I don't care about linen.
Oh, God. This is all over the map. By the way, if you want to go to my Facebook page, if you're listening to this, there's a whole bunch of people that posted
I
like
saw
28 posts
Cool.
of people that posted Yacht Rock songs on my Facebook page. I thought that was pretty cool.
And every post was like, "You're stupid, Bill. Why you like Yacht Rock?
Yeah. No, I don't know. Interestingly
the
enough,
fuck you listen to that?"
here's a tidbit of information. Apparently, in
Okay.
our MRI, Yacht Rock is a very highly requested musical genre.
Well, of course,
That's because it's mellow.
it's mellow. You ever been mellow?
I don't know.
Have you
When I
ever
go in
tried-
there,
have
when I
you
go
ever
in there for
tried
when I go in there for a test, they know what to put on.
I did an MRI that for my back that time, and she said, I said, just put on anything, and she did. And it was a country station. And I thought I was going to die. Yeah, because she
If
can't
they
hear you.
ask you, they want to know.
She can't hear you. She
Yes,
couldn't
she
hear
can.
me yelling, and the whole time going, "Turn that shit off!" It's fucking horrible.
That'll
I don't know what
teach
was
you.
worse, the sound of the machine or that fucking music. It was terrible.
All right,
That'll
are we
teach you.
done now?
We
We're
are
done.
now.
Go home.
Did I
Go
not
listen to some
forget
Yacht
it?
Rock. There you go.
All right, y'all. Visit agesofrock.com. You know the routine.
Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, you're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.